Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. What were you up to today on stream? I'm sorry if this is like short notice or anything.
Actually, funnily enough, we were dunking on the quartering about 20 minutes ago, because of his little meltdown Hugbox copium video about the Twitter stuff. And before that, we were dunking on Yellow Flash because the Minions is apparently based and anti-woke, and I hate Minions, so I had to discuss my hatred of No, I'm not kidding. You know Gargamel from the Smurfs?
I
I would
what?
do I would do to the minions what Gargamel from the Smurfs wants to do to the Smurfs, okay? I
What did
hate
what
minions.
happened?
Well,
I
I just despise minions. It's just
I love them. They say banana and it's hilarious.
all right,
I'm
we're off to a bad start here. Oh, okay. Listen, all right. Let me explain why I cannot stand minions. I talked about it on stream earlier, but I have to explain this because it's like trauma to me.
Yeah.
It's like it's deeply held trauma from my childhood. Okay? I
Yeah.
saw the first Despicable Me movie, and I thought it was cute.
Right.
I liked it, just like everybody else. The minions weren't, anything too crazy. They weren't too annoying. They were just on the side, little
Right.
side character. But then, when I was like in jujitsu, like jujitsu class, there was this kid that would like run around the gym screaming "Bedo, Bedo, Bedo" over and over and over again, and it just it made me hate minions because it annoyed me so much. And to this day,
hmm
I uh
I
I despise them.
I hope this isn't too serious of a conversation, but I was hoping I could talk to you about your experiences with someone named Flamenco.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, we can talk about that if you'd like.
Yeah.
He's
I just had Yeah, I just had Stardust on my stream and I don't know. I fucking lost my shit at her.
Oh, was she defending him?
She was defending him and Flamenco he took part in a group harassment campaign against me that culminated in like not only my mother getting doxxed, but like 7 of my Twitch mods getting doxxed.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily surprise me.
No. And it's like she was trying to defend him, saying, "Oh, just because he was in the Kiwi Farm store, that doesn't mean he's responsible. He was just there." And it's like, no, that means you are complicit. You didn't need to be there, and you could have walked away.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, and I'm really sorry that you and your family got doxxed. That's obviously
It's
very
okay. I
stressful.
mean, it's like I'm Canadian, and most of these people are American, so I'm not like even concerned. It's more just like the fear of it, like the fear tactic of doing that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's never fun, and a lot of it's just the fact that like people are so obsessed with you at all times. Like once you know that people are trying to dox you, you always
Yeah.
know at all times like there's some motherfucker right now thinking about me really hard. And it's just that
Yeah.
that creeping thought that just kind of scratches at the back of your head sometimes. I get that. Um
Yeah. No,
Flamenco. Oh yeah.
it's like fucking insane. And I just like I knew you and both Vosh. You both put out different videos saying flamenco group like engaged in like really creepy stalker behavior.
Yeah. He's
I was just yeah.
he got kind of socially shamed into leaving me alone, and I think he leaves Vosh alone now as well for similar reasons. I have a fairly like neutral relationship with Augie and Bo Blacks and Nick Diorio and the people in the drama sphere. I don't agree with them on a lot, and I get into a lot of arguments with them on politics.
Yeah.
Most of my talking with them is debating, but uh like I've found that they really don't like the weird shit that Flamenco's done with me in the past. Like they kind of socially shamed him out of that, so he's kind of chilled out there, and he's calmed down in that respect. But it seems like right now it's a little bit more acceptable to shit on
Mhm.
you, so no one has a problem with that when it's you.
Yeah. It really fucking sucks. I was hoping that I could bury the hatchet and move on. Um
Well, I'm just gonna say this: Flamenco's been taking L after L lately.
I mean,
Um,
yeah,
I
he's a fucking loser.
He is, and I don't think I don't think that he's going to be this like person who's able to generate a harassment campaign against anyone for that long, because figures like that online, their
Yeah.
lifespans as far as their relevance aren't very, very healthy. They don't last long. Usually someone else who's memeier and edgier comes along and replaces them once all of their social media gets banned. What's he on, like his 20th alt on Twitter now or something? I've had to ban his alts because he messages me on all of them. But yeah.
I don't know. I'm just glad that I can talk to someone else who gets it, because I've been trying not to talk about it. When I had a conversation with Chelsea Manning, she was basically like, the best way to deal with this kind of shit, um, like the best way to deal with this kind of shit is basically to just gray rock it and just like not address it. But it's like it never stopped.
Yeah.
We're at like fucking 5 months now, and it has not stopped. And I'm just like,
I actually have given advice on this on my stream before, because I've done this. I originally started doing this in early 2019, and that's also when flamenco and kiwi farms started to get like kind of going after me a little bit. And so I've dealt with this since 2019, and I've learned a fair amount about it since then. And the biggest lesson that I've learned is that while it's not going to stop anything, you never want to engage with them, because engaging with them opens you up to vulnerabilities that just gives them ammo. They're always going to attack you for something, but if their attacks are very unhinged and just look insane because they're grabbing at straws and they don't really have anything to go at you for, it makes you look better, and it means that you can essentially benefit from their hate. The more unhinged your haters look, the better it works out for you. You know this well.
yeah,
You've featured a lot of your most unhinged haters, and it does very well. The more upset that you can make people, like, and if they act
absolutely.
out, it helps. And so that's definitely a big part of it. Just ignoring them and not engaging. You definitely don't want to give them the attention that they want. What I did with Flamenco was I just ignored him. I didn't mention him on stream. I just didn't talk about
I
him
thought you did
nor
like a
pay
video
attention to
about
him.
him.
Well, I did a video on him after something happened. A friend of
Yeah.
mine who's a lefty, like who's progressive, but uses Kiwi Farms and is a regular on Kiwi Farms, told me that Flamenco had been doxxed on there, and that Kiwi Farms was like dunking on him or something like that. Or maybe this was after I did the video. I can't remember quite as well. I'm very high right now. Something happened with Flamenco that was just making everybody laugh at him, and I was like, I've been like sitting on a whole like document of screenshots of this guy being a fucking weirdo. I,
Yeah.
and he's doing this to other people. He's not like stopping, and he's getting an audience now. So pretty soon it's not gonna be him weirdly stalking me. It's gonna be him sending his audience after me. So I ended up making that video and intending it not necessarily to be like a career-ending nuke or anything, but more so intending for it to be to make it so that he can't claim that I've been overreacting about his behavior anymore.
Right.
Oh, I remember what it was. Oh, yes, this is what he did. A clip of him had come out where he said that he was going to try to get me evicted. He had this idea that like my mom was paying my bills, and so he said he was going to write a letter to my mom and try to get her to cut me off financially to get me evicted. And then he got roasted by Augie RFC and the drama people, and that's when I made the video. Ah, yeah. So yeah, he got like
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I had to argue on my. I saw. Yeah, you reacted to that. I didn't watch your reaction.
I thought you
I
did
saw
well.
your comment. Yeah, I thought your comments were a little mean, but everyone's a little mean to me. I totally get it.
I don't read my comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do not either. My comments are fucking. It's my comments are mostly conservatives being mad at me, but it's like
Yeah.
okay, just keep boosting my video and hate watching. Do not care.
I used to read my comments. I used to moderate my comments. I used to like ban people who shit talk people that I liked. I used to ban people who shit talked me or were just really stupid. But then it got to the point where it was like I'm making myself miserable doing this. And so I just let the hate comments fuel it, like you said. There's literally no
Yeah.
reason to ban those. And this is advice to all of you that are watching. If you're an aspiring content creator, I know it sucks to have the hate comments there, but know that regardless of a dislike is just as beneficial as a like. A hate comment just as beneficial as a positive comment. Um, it emotionally kind of sucks when you get hate, but it can fuel you when you learn to get into the right mindset.
I mean, yeah, I've been riding a lot of hate. Um, no, the problem that I have is like when it gets in, I don't know. I literally just got off, I literally like just got off with Stardust, and that entire thing was incredibly infuriating because I do not understand how you cannot understand, like how you can't understand if you are part of a mob against someone and you don't walk away and you don't tell people it's fucked up when they take it further, you're complicit.
Yeah.
That should be obvious.
Something that I really wanted to talk about with you actually, and this is actually what made my chat start going over to message you about having me on, was the
Yeah.
topic of the sort of apolitical, disaffected association of non-political figures with far-right figures. So like Ricky Berwick, for example, it was who I brought up.
Yeah.
Ricky Berwick is friends with Stone Toss
Yeah.
and seems to like Stone Toss. I don't think Ricky Berwick is a Nazi or far right.
Oh,
Um,
I don't either. I never made that
yeah,
like
I don't think you
I
do.
did a whole thing on it. I don't think he's a Nazi, but um he used his platform and financially backed Stone Toss, and
Yeah.
he like basically signaled to his audience that Stone Toss is okay and let his audience like mingle.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that makes it worse than even being friends with a Nazi. Like if you're actually at the point where you are financially supporting Nazis and allowing them to use their platform more effectively to spread their ideology, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree, and that's why I liked your tweets about it.
Yeah,
The I want to see if you agree with this particular perspective because particular perspective. I'm very high right now. I'm sorry if I fumble on my
it's
words.
okay.
I like to get very stoned on my streams. It's the only way I can handle all of the conservative brain rot. Um, so I feel like when it comes to the more apolitical, especially edgelord comedian types, and the fans of those content creators, regardless of their political views, some of them are conservative, some of them are more left leaning, or just like there's sort of like an apolitical, like they don't care who you are or how you identify as long as you don't as long as you're not bothering them kind of politics, you know, like the your dad type politics as Philosophy Tube coined it. Um,
Hmm.
those people tend to follow one simple, like consistent rule that I've seen overwhelmingly. They don't like being told they can't say something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is that simple. Some people try to overcomplicate it, like, no, you just want to say racist stuff. You just want to be, and it's like they do, but it's not
Hmm.
necessarily always because they're racist. They just don't, they want to say whatever they want. And when someone says that they can't, it makes them want to say that more and it makes them angry. And that's not a good mindset necessarily. It's neutral. It's just a mindset people
Right.
have, but it's hard to combat. And I don't know how you deal with it because how do you convince somebody to be okay with not necessarily word policing, but like some level of strong social consequences for language that leads to harm?
I mean, I think, to a certain extent, everyone believes in it. It's a matter of the threshold. Like, I don't think most people would be okay if you could just like make open death threats or like if you just like start threatening to like rape people. I feel like most people would think that's fucking disgusting.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't know. I think we just need to like get people to understand the consequences of even just accepting for accepting transphobia in the space, because with Ricky, it's like the thing that happened with the quartering was um Meta PC is Ricky's company, and the quartering, after like several days of beefing with me, decided to go mask off and be transphobic and was like calling me a man, saying you would only debate women, saying I have a penis. I literally do not even have one. Um, so I was like, okay, if he's at this point, I'm just gonna tag his sponsors because I don't like the internet drama game. Like once you start being openly bigoted to me and I know you're a grifter, I'm going to try and hit you in the only place you actually care about, because that's your wallet.
As Billy
Um,
Butcher once said, they ain't drawing no line.
yeah. Um, so I forgot what I was saying. Fuck.
No, like that, like
I'm,
when they're using their platform to spread hate, I think I've come to the conclusion, like I kind of used to be of that sort of there's this like rules of engagement type thing online. Like you don't go after people's sponsors, you don't try to get people taken down off of YouTube, you don't report other content creators. But like we're kind of getting to the point where like who gives a shit about those internet rules of engagement when now these right-wing political figures are not only is the right in power and
oh
expected to
yeah.
sweep in the midterms, but they're motivating policy. There was a politician like Texas or something who cited libs of TikTok as his inspiration. Like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. No, it's to the point where I think it's laughable. Like I just watched Sargon of Akkad's podcast, like the Lotus Eaters podcast. Um, and they misgendered me through the entire thing. They start saying my dead name through the entire thing. Um, they try to be as vile as possible. And I'm not like freaking out about it. I understand this is just what to expect when you have really vile people coming at you and you're trans. But I really hate this idea that you can be as shitty as you want to minorities and they just have to suck up and accept it, because on the internet, you're never allowed to try and make someone feel accountable for their actions.
Yeah, there's this very strong attachment to the Wild West aspect of the internet, and people really want it to stay around. We're getting into this time where like people's jobs are moving more onto the internet, and when the
Yeah.
more money that gets to something, the more moderation it sees, right? That's always how it goes. A new website comes around and it's like, okay, we're going to be super light on moderation. Then the money starts coming in, and that's when the moderation comes along. Twitch did this, YouTube did this, every platform under the sun did this, Reddit did this. Reddit literally used to have a subreddit called R Jailbait. That website was
Oh
fucking
God.
disgusting back in the day. The desire to make more money is what causes a lot of these places to like actually crack down and implement this TOS. And that is what's going to keep happening as more people's jobs come to the internet, as more money is on the line on the internet, it's going to get more sanitized and less like the Wild West. And they're super upset about that. And so they see what in many cases what you and I do, they see it as as
Mhm.
us as like rallying figures of that movement in a way.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because it's like I wouldn't do this unless they started it. And they always
Yeah.
start it, but then they cry about how I react to them starting it because they think I go too far. But they could just not be bigoted towards me. I don't understand how this is like the line is trying to get them to stop using their massive platforms to be bigoted.
Yeah, and
Because
with
they won't accept any words you say about it.
Mhm. Someone like the quartering can only be combated with humiliation online, though. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
It's the only option. Like, what else is there to do? If you disagree with the guy and you can prove that his rhetoric is causing harm, and it is, people are believing it, and it's pushing transphobic and other like bigoted ideas. He's constantly complaining about any time any marginalized group is included in any media. He's constantly calling random like LGBT teachers and random LGBT TikTokers groomers and pedophiles with no cause, no evidence
Yep.
whatsoever. It's just become the new conservative line to toe on YouTube and online at the moment. Like every political pundit from Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh with his little "What Is a Woman" documentary where he was trying to entrap people for it. Like this
Hmm.
level of depravity and this level of shamelessness is just the standard now for conservative content. They aren't drawing a line. Like I don't know. I agree with the going after sponsors thing. I don't think that
Yeah.
Ricky's company Meta PCs is going to separate any.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's the reason that I decided to like point out he's friends with Stone Toss, and I know he has a huge TikTok following, and I feel like for a lot of these teenagers, Stone Toss is just not a name they know. I've been involved in leftist circles for like 5, 6 years at this point, and um, I think a lot of people missed it. Even like Rich, Review Tech USA, he was watching the stream when I was like pointing out the connection and like that Stone Toss advocates for scientific racism and Holocaust denial and like all sorts of heinous shit. He was kind of baffled. He had no idea that both the quartering and Ricky financially backed it when he started launching a line of NFTs last year.
Yeah, it's wild. But like, so Stone Toss is known for his dog whistling in his comics. Like, he's got his comics that are really mask off and like obviously Nazi propaganda. But like
Mhm.
maybe a quarter of his comics, like the ones that really go viral, tend to be mostly apolitical. Like the first I ever saw from him was the one where it's like ass guys and boob guys shaking hands, and then they're looking at the feet guy, but the feet guy is literally Ricky Berwick, like Stone Toss Ricky Berwick.
Right.
Um, uh, and it's like feet, and that's the meme. Like that was the first time I'd ever seen a Stone Toss comic, and there's nothing political about that. And I think that's how a lot of people know him. So when you bring up, oh yeah, by the way, he's a super far right like Nazi dude, they're like, what? That guy is? How?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's the problem is that Ricky Berwick is able to use his platform to make Stone Toss seem more like a moderate when he's actually a fucking Nazi.
Yeah. I don't. So that's the thing that I don't know if that's what he's doing, is making him seem like a moderate. What I think is actually happening is more nefarious and more dangerous. I
Oh,
don't.
what?
I think that's what's happening here, is that Ricky Berwick is more or less pushing the message that who cares if somebody holds these heinous political views? Why should that matter? These
I
heinous
mean,
political views in his mind seem to be independent from whether or not he's an asshole. So if he's not an asshole in his mind, then why should him being a Nazi matter to him? He's not affected by it. He does, so it doesn't really seem to bother him that much, as much as it would somebody who is trans or who's part of the LGBT community broadly, or who's a POC or anything like that, who is actually affected by that rhetoric. And obviously, Ricky Berwick isn't, clearly doesn't mind ableism.
right.
So I don't know.
No, absolutely. Cause yeah, like the whole thing, it's like I tagged the sponsor, and there's like a whole bunch of heinous transphobic tweets about me by the quartering, and Ricky's response is to quote tweet it with his discount code for Meta, and then in a reply to me where he's telling me I need to cool down, he's holding a bag of the coffee from Jeremy's company.
Yeah, that's obviously meant to provoke. Like it's meant to be like triggering or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's doesn't give a single fuck, and it's like okay.
yeah,
He
yeah.
told me in a DM that I shouldn't care what people think about me. So I really hope when my video comes out showing like his connections and how he uses his platform inadvertently to promote Holocaust denial, he doesn't care since he said he doesn't care what people think about him.
I have a feeling he'll at least make a tweet or acknowledge in some way, and it won't seem like he's pleased. I do dislike that you shouldn't care what other people think of you comment, because anybody who's an online content creator, especially ones who've complained in any way about cancel culture, know damn well what it's like to be inundated with harassment on the internet. Just because they're
Oh
not
yeah.
the fact that you don't know these people and you don't know who they are, where they live, or what their names are or anything like that makes it worse. If you knew who they
Uh,
were and they were real people, like at least then you could go to the police or something.
oh yeah, it's kind of funny cuz like sometimes I'll get like a lot of harassment and it feels terrible. And then I find one of those people who was harassing me, they do a live stream and they're just like this awkward nerd. And I'm like, damn, this is the person I was afraid of? Holy. I got worked up over nothing.
My cat's walking on my keyboard. Come on, Lena, jump down. Don't do that. Sorry, my cat's being ridiculous. She's insane. Yeah. God, I one of the things that
Um,
oh sorry, what?
hold on. Someone in my chat's being shit. I'm banning them. Okay.
Based. Um, yeah, I one of the things that's disappointed me a lot in my time being an online figure is that when you're on the left, you're saddled with the inherent responsibility, if you're trying to convince people, the inherent responsibility of getting people to care. And getting people to care is hard when the alternative is like, let's be
Yeah.
apathetic and complain about random culture war stuff that's fun to complain about. instead of what really matters. It's
I
like
just
actually
hate
hard
it
to
because
fight
like for
for.
them it's just like a fun game and content, and for me it's
Yeah.
like I have so many trans people in my chat and I know how fucking hard their lives are, and it's just like it just feels like one side is actually fighting a battle that affects their lives, and the other people are like, all right, cool, we found a minority we can clown on for money.
Yeah, that's always where that's always what upsets me the most, right? Because we're put in this situation where like so I'm cis. I make content that's very left wing, and I argue against transphobes a lot. And
Yeah.
my sort of tactic is to go about it very like matter of factly, very logically. Like I don't get offended by the transphobic comments, the transphobic content. I call it out. I dunk on it. That's what I do. But if you're trans, that can be a lot harder to do. And not only that, but it shouldn't be necessary. Like the problem is like a lot of trans people right now are kind of forced into by circumstance having to explain their existence and why they ought to be allowed to exist. And whether it be because they have to explain it to family, to friends, to the internet, to convince people in order to sway political movement, like it's unfortunate because it's a complicated topic. It's not as simple as like we should just accept people for who they are, because there's issues that have to be you have to be knowledgeable about along with that, right? Like just because someone thinks like trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary people are valid, yada yada yada, that doesn't necessarily mean they're woke about like the policy that's being pushed right now to harm trans people and cut down on their access to healthcare or their ability to exist in schools in Florida right now or anything like that. You know, there's a lot of extra baggage that comes along with it, and it's kind of a big ask for a lot of people, I feel like, but they got to learn about it anyway, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I just saw that Harry Robinson from Lotus Eaters responded to me, and I was just like trying to get him on the stream too.
Hell yeah. Your Twitter is always just an absolute fucking battleground. Like
It's so
every time I refresh my homepage, there's something going on.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Do you think it'll ever get quiet?
Nope, can't
Never.
stop.
Can't stop,
Maybe
won't stop.
eventually.
One day all the conservatives will have you blocked though. There'll be a day when they'll have yeah, well, I guess then you can make another account. Or your friend can. Friend can make an account. And then they could argue against them. Who knows? Um, no, but I absolutely love seeing the Twitter craziness. It's been a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to wait for you to finish typing. Sorry about that.
Yes, I'm so fucking sorry. I have like such bad ADD. I'm like always all over the place.
Oh, listen, not only do I have ADHD, but I'm high as fuck right now. And like I'm not only am I looking at Twitter right now because I brought up Twitter and it made me involuntarily click over to it, but also I've got like my chat going. I'm overwhelmed as too. Okay, I'm right there with you. I love being a streamer.
I love to stream. I love to play video games badly because I can't focus on conversations and video games at the same time. I don't understand how other streamers do it.
I have to play games that are like kind of idly, you know, like Minecraft is a good
Yeah.
one. You can't go wrong with Minecraft as a streaming game. It's just the game itself is entertaining enough that people are going to watch, but also it's not too distracting for the streamer. So you can still produce some pretty good content while playing Minecraft and like engage, you know? I saw you were playing Breath of the Wild
I
in the
am
debate
playing
with
Breath of
Augie.
the Wild.
Is it good? I played like I got like
It's
to what was the village where not Gerudo Village. That's the one where you have to dress up as a girl to get in, I think. Or Gerudo Valley. What's the one that's like a nice little valley village and it's got the little
yeah, I mean I in Gerudo Valley you have to dress up like a girl to get in Breath of the Wild.
Cocorico Village? Is that the one?
Cocorico. I've been there before. It's a nice little village.
I think that's the one. That's as far as I got. I never like I was playing it on a really bad PC emulated, and there was only so long I could play the game with 12 FPS. But now I have the technology. I might stream it sometime down the road. Might be fun.
You should. It's a really fun game. It's like Dark Souls for babies.
That's what I heard, and that's what it felt like. But the one thing that kind of made it a little bit frustrating was the weapon durability. I,
Oh, the weapon durability shit. It's actually very frustrating. I feel like
yeah,
I'm constantly breaking weapons.
I was told that you get the master sword and it breaks, but it reforms after a while, so that's nice. But why does it ever get a little more reasonable? Is it ever like you can kill 100 monsters with a sword before it breaks? If not, that might make me rip my hair out. If it's like you
Oh
can
fuck.
just
Sorry. I alerted the cards again. I'm so sorry.
what happened?
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said anything.
Wait.
I was like you were talking and I was trying to like get to the door before the door closed, but the guard saw me and then I was like running for it, but they
Oh,
saw me and the door I'm so sorry.
it's okay. Um yeah, I definitely do want to play the game. It's gonna be fun. I got the technology for it, so it's gonna be good. Okay, this is what I wanted to tell you that's really funny. So, um, when I put out my video on Flamenco, the soccer boy, um, it didn't necessarily have like like it didn't really impact him or anything like that, which I didn't intend for it to. I just didn't want him to be able to pretend like the things that I'd said about him stalking me were an over exaggeration, because I kind of kept the details myself because I felt that talking about it would be um giving him the attention he wanted. And after the video came out, he ended up getting doxxed by Kiwi Farms, and it turned out he's like 30. And I thought that was very funny because he was a like I was 19 and he was like 28 and like stalking me on the internet, which is odd. I don't know. A little odd.
These people are fucking these people like I don't really like the word to use the word degenerate, but these people are literally degenerates. Like they get a kick off of trying to hurt other people. And they dedicate like an incredibly unhealthy amount of time in order to trying to hurt other people.
Yeah, it's generally a pastime on the internet, and it's dude, I just fed you. My cat's being loud. Nah, it seems like it's become a pastime on the internet for a lot of people to upset people for the sake of upsetting people, not necessarily for any political gain or any political reason. Although, let's be honest, people who are part of a marginalized group are a higher risk target, both because of bigots and also because it's easier to harass someone on the internet. Like when you're looking for a target to harass on the internet, you would look for somebody that you can call like a word that's or refer to in a way that like there
Mm-hmm.
already exists like a template basically, on how to insult that person. So you don't have to do all that much work. So that means that people who are part of a marginalized group are at a higher risk of harassment, and this results in the culture of trolling and pissing people off online naturally sort of funneling into typically attacking people who are part of a marginalized group, anywhere from having a disability
Mm-hmm.
to being a part of like a non like just to being non-white, to being from like a different country, having an accent. People will attack you for having an accent at your gender, god forbid having a feminine voice in a voice chat in a video game. Holy fuck, that'll oof. There's some video if you ever want to like prove the point on stream. I like to bring up this
Yeah.
video series that this particular YouTube girl like this particular YouTuber did called "Oh My God, Is That a Girl?" And it's her going into like Rainbow Six Siege games and just recording random clips of people freaking out when she speaks and they realize she's a girl. Just that kind of shit is like a problem. And because the types of people on the internet that are doing this stuff and don't realize the effect, because they think it's just memes and jokes aren't the recipients of it. They never realize that, how it feels.
Hmm.
It took me a long time. I sorry, my water bottle is empty and my lips are so dry. um my it took me a long time to realize it myself. I had to play a lot of video games with friends that I had. Sorry, I had to play a lot of video games with girls that I was friends with, and like hear them speak in the game and hear the responses that they get, and be like, "Holy fuck, this is like not a once in a while thing. This is a like every other
Hmm.
interaction if you're lucky kind of thing." And
Hmm.
it made me realize like it's easy to say just log off if you get shit on the internet like once a week. It's not that easy if it's literally every time you say something or exist online
Oh
publicly.
yeah. No, for sure. That's why I have a lot of sympathy for Taylor Lorenz, because it's just like she gets like so much fucking hate every single day to the point where she has to make all of her tweets mutuals only
Yeah.
to respond to them.
Yeah, it's that's one like that like I want to talk to more of the figures that are more in the normie space that also kind of jump onto the train of shitting on people like Taylor Lorenz and defending libs of TikTok. I want to have those conversations. I've something I've tried my hardest to do, and this is something that it it's gotten me canceled once or twice a little bit because, and for understandable reasons, because it requires me to have amicable relationships with people that have some undesirable political opinions. I try to like exist on a somewhat neutral or positive ground with the more edgy drama tubers that are in some cases even friendly with people on the right. And I hope that through that association, which is mostly debates and arguing, that I can move them somewhere better.
Hmm.
And I've had some success, I will say. I like, holy shit. If you want to see, look at the drama tubers back in 20, like Augie Boblax and whatnot, and all of them back in 2020, and compare
Yeah.
like their takes back then to now. Like I've got like now they actually like go out and they shit on like the most overt examples of transphobia, even if they defend some people like the quartering and whatnot sometimes. Like it's not perfect, and I'm not like trying to make it seem like I've done something worthy of like, oh, good job, Zan, good for you, man. Oh, pat on the back. Here's your cookie. It's something that I like to do is like convince people to change their mind. Like I've gotten
Hmm.
messages from people where they're like, hey, you convinced me. I'm like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I fucking convinced somebody. They think I'm right. I don't know. It just gives me like that little dopamine boost when somebody is like gets convinced by an argument that I made. It's why I do debates. So
That is really cool.
so yeah,
I mostly like, I don't know. When I do debates, it's mostly because I find I look for someone who looks like they would be easy to like fucking like mess with and then just make fun of them, like with the pretext of debate, to be honest.
yeah,
Cuz
people
like a
get
lot of
mad
these
about
people
that.
I don't think I'll ever convince them to respect me as a human being. But I can make them look silly.
Yeah, and I think that's needed. Like for me, I like to do the super logic bro, debate bro style. Like, oh, you think trans people aren't valid? Well, here's 250 studies that disprove that point. That's like the kind of
Right.
that's like my thing. But there's tons of people out there that like just want to like your popularity
Uh,
alone proves
yeah.
this. That people like the memes, people like the dunking.
They like the dunking. I think like the problem is, I don't know if it'll be a popular opinion. Like, I feel like actually having debates with transphobes will always be more productive when it's two cis people, because they already hate me on a fundamental level. They'll
Yeah.
never respect me. They'll never take any of my opinions seriously. I just feel like it's easier to get through to them if you're not trans.
That's true. And I've made this argument before, but I have to be careful with it because it comes
Yeah,
off as cis
I think it's
saviory.
like, I think it's an argument that looks really bad if someone who isn't trans makes it, because
Yeah.
then it's like you're, oh, so you're our savior, huh? But it's like I honestly don't, I don't think I could ever convince like the quartering or like fucking Sargon of Akkad or something to respect me as a person.
Yeah. I actually have a good example of the point that you're making here, and you're completely right. You're just 1,000,000% right. Have you ever heard
Yeah,
of a YouTuber by the name of Long Beach Griffy?
I have not.
He's a very popular YouTuber. I think over 3 or 4 million subscribers. He makes sketch videos on YouTube, and they're pretty funny. And I was a big fan of him until one day when one of his videos popped up in my recommended, and it was called like when a transgender gets pulled over by a cop. I'm
Oh
not
no.
I'm not gonna go into detail on what happens in the video, but let's
I
just say
don't.
it ends with the trans woman dead. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so
I don't
I
like this.
yeah, I covered the video on stream and I criticized it, and his audience wasn't exactly thrilled about that. I got inundated with hate comments, but believe it or not, Long Beach Griffey himself saw my video and had a somewhat amicable response to it. He wanted to like come on my stream and talk with me, and he actually was very like respectful and listened to everything I had to say. And at the end of it, like was like I didn't know all of this. Like I didn't know that there was like all this data and all these studies, like all this fact to back all this up. And like since then, his content, when it does mention trans people, he makes some satire and jokes, but like it never feels like it's at the expense of trans people as much anymore. I may be
Right.
wrong. I haven't watched all of his content, but it felt like it made a big difference. And I don't know if you can get somebody who's starting off on that like where he was to listen to a trans person explain to him. Like I don't know if you can get somebody who thinks a trans person isn't even worthy of basic human respect to listen to a trans person to explain to them why they ought to respect them, like there's a prerequisite needed there. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's one of those complicated things because I've been accused a lot of speaking over trans people, and it's frustrating because it's like I'm not doing that, like that. How's that even work? Like on the internet, how does that even work? How do you
How,
speak over someone? Like, please explain to me how that would even physically work. But I understand where their frustration is coming from because there are people that will go out and do a performative allyship. I hate the word ally, but they'll do a performative allyship and they'll do it for brownie points and they'll do it for money and they'll do it for status. They'll do it for clout. And I understand that concern, but at the same time, it's like, but I really hate transphobes and I want to dunk on them. Stop telling me to stop. I don't know.
oh, yeah, no, I get it. I'm sorry. I don't know if I was in the best headspace.
I'm so high right now, I cannot
I
judge you.
literally like I literally was like fucking screaming at Stardust, and then I ended the call and like immediately was like I should talk to Xander Hall.
Listen, I actually really appreciate it because I mentioned it on stream, like, oh, we could have Keffals on to talk about this. And I was like, I'll message her and maybe she'll have me on in like a couple days or something. But then you were like, oh, no, come on stream. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Sure. But I appreciate how fast that was. Actually, really quick, do you mind if I go grab some water?
Oh yeah, go do what you need to do.
Okay, thank you. And my lips are so dry. Good news. I'm not going to die of dehydration. Oh,
Nice.
Keffals,
Yes.
are you quail pilled?
Quail? I like quail. I haven't had quail in a long time though.
Like eating it?
Yeah,
Oh, well, I've
it's really
actually
good.
I heard it is. I've actually never eaten it. However, my uncle who lives back in Florida, I moved from Florida to Southern California a couple years ago. Um,
Yeah?
my uncle raised Coturnix quail, jumbo Coturnix quail to be specific, for a few years. He had to stop because his work got too hectic and he couldn't spend enough
Oh.
time at home to take care of them. But he raised them for
Uh-huh.
their eggs and for their meat, and it is
Oh, I've
astonishingly
had
easy.
quail eggs. Quail eggs are really good.
I heard, yeah. I haven't had quail eggs or the meat yet. However, I have fallen in love via YouTube and talking with my uncle and like his quail stuff with the
Didn't you have
idea.
like a food arc like a long time ago? Like you're growing a coconut or something?
Yeah, I did. I grew a coconut when I was a kid. I sprouted a coconut from a grocery store, and
Yeah.
I got
Also,
it to grow. But the one that I bought recently and did on YouTube, it ended up dying because it wasn't a viable one.
sad. Have you ever had moose?
I have not had moose, but I've had elk.
I have not had elk. I've had moose. I'm saying this because someone in chat asked me if I've had moose. It is it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like really gamey, somewhere between pork and beef.
It's definitely got to taste like elk, right? Like I feel like it tastes like elk, because like I feel like deer, elk, and moose all generally taste the same. They all have that kind of like pink stringy meat, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since
Yeah,
I've had
it's
it.
very gamey, very stringy meat.
Yeah, like okay, I had elk burgers, so I don't know if that like makes a big difference, but I went to Colorado
Yeah.
and there was this restaurant that was literally right next to a big preserve full of elk, and it's a nature trail you can drive down, look at all the elk in the fields, and I ate an elk burger while looking at all the elk. Um
That's kind of cool.
yeah,
I
it's beautiful.
I had moose lasagna. It was very tasty.
Moose lasagna.
Moose lasagna.
That is amazing. I thought you were gonna say like, oh yeah, I had a moose steak or like a moose burger. Moose
Nope, moose
lasagna.
lasagna.
Holy crap. I'm trying to think.
I I love the food. There are so many like little things that come out of Canada that I really wish I could share with people. Like, have you ever had poutine?
I've not had poutine, but I've heard of it.
Have you ever had a shawarma?
I've not had shawarma, but I want to so bad.
There are a lot of places in my city where you can get a shawarma poutine.
Uh,
Like all of the toppings of a shawarma on top of a bed of gravy, french fries, and cheese curds.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to try it. I got a friend who's Canadian in my chat, Balthazar, that says when I visit them, I'm gonna need to be getting they're gonna get me poutine and shawarma once I visit them in Canada. So I'm definitely gonna have to try that out. That sounds
It's straight to
delicious as hell.
Yeah, no,
Um,
poutine's great.
I wanted to say though, because my chat they want me to quail pill you. My
I will
plan.
eat as much quail as I can. I don't know where to buy quail meat.
Well, I might actually have a solution for you because right now I'm actually saving up for a move up to like the Seattle area up in Washington State, and I plan to rent a house in the backyard back there sometime end of this year, early next year. Establish a
Hmm.
quail coop and make raising quail part of my political content. I'm gonna incorporate those two things,
Oh hell yeah,
and it's gonna
that
happen.
rules.
So if you want quail eggs, then I
I
mean you
want
can mail
quail
them.
eggs. Oh, wait, I can get quail eggs. I just don't know where to get quail meat.
I can literally just like if I have any Dexter Morgan quail that are pecking the eyes out of the hens, or one that gets mortally wounded, or one that has if I have any quail that gotta go and I end up culling for meat, I can literally like pluck it, prepare it, freeze it in like a cooler with dry ice and mail it. It should be fine, I'm pretty sure.
I see. No, that would be fucking. I will buy your quail meat.
Not freeze dry, dry ice, sorry. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, you don't have to buy it. I just mail it to people because
Uh,
I'm gonna have so
hell
many.
yeah.
I'm gonna have too many quail eggs. I was talking about it on stream earlier. I'm gonna have too many
Can
quail
you
eggs.
do that? Can you ship? Because I'm Canadian. Can you ship like quail meat, just like homegrown meat, over the border? I feel
Um,
like there's probably some sort of regulation against this.
let's not talk about how I'm gonna get the meat to you over on stream. I've got connections. That's all I'll say.
All right. Well. All
No,
right.
no, but we'll
Okay.
figure it out. We'll figure out a way for. I'm sure there's like some way to
Then
get food through customs.
Xander Hall's about to start the underground quail meat railroad for Canada. For
Uh,
too long, Canadians have not had access to high quality quail meat.
Not Coturnix, at least. Is it? It's probably too cold in Canada to raise Coturnix quail. Probably not. They can. They're from Japan, aren't they? So, and Japan's cold.
I have no idea.
Japan. It snows in Japan, so it's probably warm enough for. It's probably warm enough for Coturnix quail. But yeah. Is there anything else in like particular you want to talk about?
I don't have Honestly, I don't have actually much. Like, it was basically just after that, and I was like, it would be cool talking to you, but I don't know. I feel like we should have a talk another time. I think I'm just gonna play Zelda for a bit.
Yeah, you sound pretty tired. It seems like you had a pretty rough, they had a pretty rough stream yelling at people and stuff. So I can understand
Yeah,
that.
that last thing pissed me off a lot.
Yeah, how long have you been live for?
4 hours, 15 minutes.
I've been live for
Not bad.
424, so we're about
It's like,
neck, roughly neck and neck. So we're both pretty tired.
yeah,
Well,
might order a hamburger. No quail burger though.
Borgar. Um, well, I'll let you enjoy your food. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
No problem. Well, have a fantastic day, okay?
Okay, take care.
Bye, Keffals stream. That was fun. We finally had a Keffals combo. It's happened, chat. You guys have been asking for it for so long. A Zan Keffals cameo crossover, and it's finally happened. That was fun. I feel obviously Keffals is really tired because she was like debating people, and I'm tired as shit right now too. It's been 4.5 hours I've been streaming. I had 2 more segments I was gonna do, but honestly, that Keffals talk was probably better than doing that. Watching The Boys without me, Valve? Don't watch it without me. We gotta watch it tonight after stream. That was a nice talk. Yeah, it was fun. I really wanted to talk about the tendency for people who are sort of like apolitical, quote unquote, to just kind of I it's this not it's this normalization of the political beliefs. Um this idea that like it's not a big deal if someone's a Nazi. It is my problem. Like this normalization of the idea that it isn't a big deal that someone's a Nazi. If they're like a chill dude and they're not an asshole, quote unquote, then who cares? And it's just like, what? I don't know. How can you use that as an excuse to be friends with with someone who's a literal white supremacist? Oi, Huey, we're the boys now, you cunt. Yeah. We should do a full The Boys watch party in my Discord. Ethan said that when he gets back from Germany, which he should do in about a week or so, he'll be down to watch The Boys. So if you guys want, we can do The Boys full series watch party in my Discord if that's what you're up for. Maybe Cherry can join in too, because Cherry hasn't seen it. Yeah, Cherry, I talked to Keffals. It was fun. Well, that was a fun combo. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, follow my social media, all linked down below. Links, of course, in the description. And if you want to support me financially, you can always do so if you've got the money for it. And make sure you don't need it for anything else. You always look out for number one. You can't pay your own bills and you can't buy whatever you want to buy, then you don't need to be donating to any streamer, and certainly not me. So if you've got the money for it and you don't need it for anything else, you can support me on my website, xanderhall.com/live in the form of a dono, gifted sub, or a sub for yourself. You can also support me over on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. Keffals' link will be in the pinned comment down below if you want to go check out her stream and her YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.